Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Masters of the Universe Revelation. Now, as you know, the new He-Man cartoon is meant to be the upcoming Netflix series done by Kevin Smith. And the series might be a potential to be a continuation from the 1980s He-Man cartoon, and which also has Mark Hamill voicing Skeletor himself. Now, the series itself is meant to be more of a prequel to the Netflix TV series, and the cover has He-Man holding his sword proudly, while Skeletor and Evelyn and that show off their poses. And it starts off with King Randall looking on, saying, "Melina, I heard it again." A freezing, almost electric, and we see how Prince Adam's mum tells King Randall to come back to bed, and we kind of see how he looks on from the city, knowing that things aren't going to be simple. So we hear a loud cry. Prince Adam turns into He-Man with Battle Cat, with Orko saying, "The king! What are you waiting for? Fire!" And we kind of see how He-Man uses his sword, but disappears beforehand. So we see how He-Man, Teela, and that head to the sorceress's castle, who finds out that the king is in some sort of catatonic state, and that the venom is going to slowly kill him. We see Teela saying, "Adam should know." Teela, So we kind of see how Orko tries to cover up the thing with Prince Adam, and we see how the sorceress tasks He-Man to go into the cosmic corridor and to go through time and space. We see how He-Man remembers back to his younger youth with his father, and eventually learns something else about his ancestor King Grayskull, as well as Dare, with him saying, it was an exhibition of your arm, the hilt in your hand. It's just another joint to connect your forearm to the blade." What? You become the hero. Now your brother is going to try and strike you. I want you to defend yourself, Dare. And we see how He-Man learns to his surprisement. He's back into the old ancient days of King Grayskull and that. Now, fun fact, in the Filmation cartoon, the sorceress had a totally different origin from this one. Instead, was meant to be a village girl attacked by a sort of horde-like fleet, and eventually met the original sorceress. So I'm guessing this suggests that Kevin Smith's cartoon is meant to follow a different path from the Filmation one. We see also how the Snake Men learn that their numbers have dwindled, and even King here saying, "Such potential." And seeing how Dare is quickly attacked by the Orlax, and we see how King Grayskull goes after every one of the Snake Men, even eventually learning how to make a new blade by the ancients, and even going to hell and back to basically get what he needed, and eventually forging the sword itself and using it in battle, with the Lorax saying, with King here saying, "He's right here. Well, I have an individual weapon of both you heirs. Soon I will have the great hall, your lovely life, and your divine. Look around and tell me, truly, what do you have left? I have the power." And so quickly takes down the creature, leaving Dare to survive. Road to survive, and Dare in a sort of catatonic dead state. And eventually King Hiss in that fleeing, and eventually the sort of Orlax tries to attack them, but He-Man intervenes, with him saying, Sorceress, I'm ready. You saved my son. Name yourself, stranger." I am a friend. I'm sorry we had to meet under such circumstances. He was called Dare. His sacrifice will save many lives, and I promise you, his name will live on. And we eventually see how he leaves, and we kind of see how Ro will eventually become hero, and eventually becoming the sort of next one to wield the sword. And we see how Prince Adam remembers how his father basically admits that he always wanted to be something like He-Man, but he knew that being under the throne was more of his thing. And even tells Prince Adam to pick a crown so they'll have a few drinks for the party. So we see how they learn that he's not really dead, with basically that there's no venom, and not a physical one. And eventually we see how they keep the Lorax chained up, and then wanting to learn who sent it, which turns out it was Skeletal, who was not trying to kill He-Man, but instead wanted to learn what the Lorax was and wanted, and why it came a millennia ago, with him saying, "Now get it back!" And yeah, this is the story. So, I feel issue 1 is a good start. Like, you can kind of tell what they're trying to do mostly is keep it close to the Filmation one, but make some elements their own. And I have done this with my own He-Man reboot, like making Horde Prime a cosmic horror, basically having He-Man and She-Ra as half brother and sister, and even I would even had Dare and Ro as He-Man and also Princess Aurora's descendants. So I think this issue deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.